Today on the podcast, we have my partner, Jeff Bartholomew. Today, we're going to be talking about some of our future trips that our travelers are taking that we have planned. A couple to Ireland, a couple to England, and a trip to Scotland. We're also going to talk about our group trips that we have planned in Italy. We have a couples trip going to Italy, 4 rounds of golf, 8 nights, 6 nights in Tuscany, 2 nights in Rome. And then we also have a group trip in Ireland that we're taking in April. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Welcome everybody to another episode of Travel Worley Podcast. Today I've got my co-host and partner, Jeff Bartholomew. Some people may say he's my father-in-law, but right now we're business partners. So we're going to go through a couple things that we have planned for 2022, 2023, get you a COVID update, talk about future podcast guests, and get y'all caught up on Royal Links golf tours. So Jeff, let's, I guess, start with a COVID update. You said that you were getting some emails from some courses and on, how countries are moving forward with COVID. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's interesting, Hayden. It seems to be top of mind with a lot of our travelers. A lot of our guests want to know, hey, what's the status? And our standard answers, it seems to be changing every day. Today, I got 7 emails from the UK government with various updates. So let me give you the theme of what the UK is doing in terms of COVID. What they're basically saying is that if you're fully vaccinated right now, all you need to do is show up with your card from the US, from the CDC, your CDC card showing that you've been vaccinated. If you do that, you don't need to take a test before you get there. You don't need to self-quarantine. You do have to fill out a passenger locator form. But the passenger locator form is being shortened and made easier to fill out. Now, if you're unvaccinated, you need to do 3 things. 1, you need to show up with a test, a negative test that you've gotten within the previous 72 hours. You need to take a test while you're in the UK, and you have to fill out the passenger locator form. So they've eased restrictions considerably. So that's good news for all of our travelers as they look to plan a trip over there. Omicron apparently is on the decline, or appears to be on the decline. And so people are opening back up. And that's good news for golf and good news for our travelers.
That's right. Anything's better than when you went to Scotland in the summer and had to quarantine 10 days. I think as long as we're not having to quarantine our travelers, that COVID's doing good. So
yeah, I think a good thing too to think about is we don't even put it on our website because it's literally changing every day. Lately, the last 30 days, it's been trending in a positive direction. What we would encourage you to do is, if you do have questions about COVID and what the requirements are to get into to various countries, just give us a call and we'll be happy to talk through it with you, with the knowledge that we've gotten updates. We've been getting updates on a daily basis. So good news on the COVID front.
Cool. So let's talk about a few of the trips that we have planned for some of our travelers, just to give people an idea of what people are doing and how, if you were even interested in taking a trip, what that trip would look like. So, we've got a few trips we're going to talk about, 1 to Scotland, 1 to Ireland, and 1 to England. The Ireland group that we're talking with right now, finalizing details, talk a little bit about that foursome that's headed to Ireland.
Okay. That's a great question. So as most of you know, we do put together some group trips where it's kind of a first come, first serve. We're going to talk about those in a minute. But the bulk of our business are bespoke trips that we customize for every traveling group. So we do have a group going this fall. They are going in September, mid-September, returning the first day of October. And they are going to Ireland. It's a group of 4 American golfers out of Michigan, and they're going to the Southwest. So this is exciting. This is really cool. They asked me the other day, hey, is there anything we can do on the drive down? Because they'll arrive in Dublin in the morning. They'll have a 4-hour drive down to the southwest. And I said, yeah, it just so happens we've got a castle for you to stop at. They have a distillery there, and we're going to do a whiskey tasting in their dungeon, which is really going to be cool. They've converted the dungeon into a bar, and so it's called Kennedy Castle. So that'll be stop number one for that group. And then once they get down to the south, they're going to go to Killorglin, which is near Killarney. And down there, they're going to play Tralee, Old Head, Waterville, and Dukes. And they're going to move up to the Lahinch area for 4 nights. And they are going to play Trump Doonbeg, Trump International Doonbeg, Ballybunion, and Lahinch. So they'll get to play 7 rounds of golf in 9 days. And they'll also get to see the Cliffs of Moher. We're sending them for traditional Irish music to a town called Doolin, and they're doing that fantastic whiskey tasting at Kennedy Castle. So that's a fantastic trip.
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually talked on the phone with the owner of Kennedy Castle, right? The hotel there that kind of heads the whiskey tastings, and we're going to have him on the podcast in a couple of weeks. So we'll have to have that group listen into that, so get them prepared for the whiskeys that they're going to be tasting and a little bit of history about the castle. So
exactly. Well, and you know what's surprising is we're talking about some of these trips. 2 other trips have me a little bit surprised, and I don't know why. But we've got 2 couples trips that are booked as well. We've got two couples from New York who are going to Scotland this fall, and they're going to be going in September as well. Seems like that's a popular month this year. And we've got them set up for 16 days and 6 rounds of golf. 2 couples. One of the wives don't play, so we're setting up while the guys are playing golf on those 6 days. We've got other tours set up for the wives. They're going to be staying. First of all, they're going to drive up to the Highlands. They're going to stay in Inverness. We got them a beautiful place to stay, and up there they're going to play. They're going to play Brora. They're going to play, let me think. They're only going to play 2 courses. They're going to play Dornoch and Brora. And then they're going to come down to St. Andrews. They're going to spend 8 nights in St. Andrews, 150 yards from the old course, in a beautiful home that we found. They're going to love that. And they're going to play, they're going to get on the ballot to play the old course. And then we've got them plugged into Dumbarnie and one other of the St. Andrews courses. And then from there, after 8 nights there, they're going to go down to North Berwick, and they're going to play North Berwick and one other course in that area. So I'm trying to remember which one we've got them booked into, but we've got them booked into 2. Gullen.
The first 2 courses, you have Royal Dornoch, and that's pretty high up on the list of top courses in the world, correct?
Yeah, it's a perennial top 10 course. It's fantastic. It's interesting too. I'm glad you brought that up, because what happened, Hayden, was we literally booked their trip. I knew that the tee times were getting scarce, and we got them a tee time. And about 10 days later, we got an email from Dornoch saying that they're completely booked this year. No more tee times available. So we were able to get them some 2 grade tee time, or A grade tee time, I should say, at Dornoch. But the other thing that we've got, I think that's interesting with them, we've got them scheduled to go into a museum, the Golf Heritage Museum at Gullen, which is fantastic. And Jillian and David Kirkwood own that. They're going to be guests on the podcast coming up as well. But it's a fantastic diversion from golf. It's a free museum tour. They've got implements that have been used to play golf for the last 200 years. It's absolutely fascinating. And then the other thing we've got a walking tour of St. Andrews with them, and a walking tour. These are private guided tours of St. Andrews and Edinburgh. And we've got some luxury shopping planned as well. Dunrobin Castle up in north of Dornoch they'll go through. So they're going to have more activities than they know what to do with.
I think the wives made sure that there was a couple shopping days, right?
Exactly. And we've got some great luxury shopping places for them. They'll love it. So that's one of the couples trip. Then we got another couples trip next year. This one's really interesting, Hayden, and I know that you're aware of this, but two couples from Texas, they want to go to Scotland and Ireland, a 16-day trip. So they'll be spending, it's 16 days, but 14 nights. I'm not counting the travel, or I'm counting those travel days. So there'll be 6 nights in Scotland, 8 nights in Ireland. So they're going to be staying in St. Andrews, and they're going to be playing a handful of courses around St. Andrews, including Dumbarnie and the courses there at St. Andrews. And then we're going to take them over to Ireland, and they're going to go to the south of Ireland. We've got a ton of good courses down there set up for them as well. And so they'll be playing the Ballybunions and Lahinch and Trelease and all of those. So the thing that's surprising about that is that we've got 2 couples trips booked. In this case, the wives do play. We've got 9 rounds of golf, and the women are going to play 7 of them. So they're going to take 2 days off, and we've got some things booked for them to do. They really want to stay in Killarney. They've heard great things about Killarney, so we're going to put them up in Killarney, and that's going to be a fabulous trip as well.
Awesome. And then we can talk about one more that we have planned, is the father-son duo, correct, in England?
Yeah, so next year, 2023, we've got 2 dads who want to take their high school sons that are graduating before they go off to college. So next June, we've got them slated to go to England. This is a fantastic trip. And this is really born out of the fact that they wanted to play some championship courses. So we've got them set up they're going to fly into Manchester, which is the major airport in the northwest of England. It's a great airport to fly in and out of. So they're going to land there. We're going to have them picked up and driven out to Southport on the coast. And we've got them set up to play 4 courses on the Mersey coast. So they'll be, or the Lancashire coast. So they're going to be playing Royal Liverpool, Royal Lytham and St. Anne's, and Royal Birkdale. So 3 Open Championship courses, and Southport and Ainsdale, which is a Ryder Cup venue from the past. From there, we're going to have them drive over to the Kent area on the other coast. On the way over there, the drivers have to take a break after a certain number of hours driving. So we're going to stop at the Belfry, another Ryder Cup venue. They'll have lunch there and get to tour the property, and then we'll finish the ride over to the Kent area. And over there, they're going to get to play Royal St. George's, Royal Cinqueports, and Prince's, all Open Championship venues. The other thing that we've got planned for them is a tour of Liverpool, which is big for the Beatles. So if there are any Beatle fans out there, we've got a wonderful source that does a private guided tour of Liverpool from a Beatles perspective. It's about a 3-hour tour. You go to see the homes where the Beatles grew up, the Cavern Club where they played, the schools they went to. You go down Penny Lane, and you go to Strawberry Fields. It's fantastic. So 2 fathers and sons going next June.
Don't wait too long to start planning your unforgettable trip with us. So
yeah, there's a good reason for that, Hayden. I'm glad you brought that up. We do have a group that we're hoping to go to Ireland this fall. And the major venues are running out of tee times. And I mean, literally running out of tee times. I expect to get an email from Ballybunion any day now saying they're fully booked. So it's going to push us to probably up into the Northwest, which is still a wonderful place to go for a golf trip. I mean, you know, it's absolutely fantastic up in the Northwest, and they do have some tea time availability. So we'll probably have one group go up there this fall.
So as for availability for this year, 2022 summer and early fall, what trip would be the main one that would be have the most availability and easiest to get a group on at this late of the year?
Wow. If someone wanted to go this summer or even this fall, Scotland is basically booked, right? St. Andrews is booked, fully booked. Dornoch is booked. To put together a trip at this late date for Scotland would be very, very difficult. There are parts of Ireland where we could get people in. There are parts of England where we can get people in. And I want to say this, like, I want to make sure that people understand we're not just shoehorning them into second-rate courses. These are first-rate golf courses. The courses in England are spectacular. The courses in Northwest Ireland are spectacular. And these are all courses that I've played and our guests have played, and they're top-notch courses. I can't wait to get back up to Rossapena. I can't wait to get back to the courses in Lancashire. I can't wait to get to the courses down in Cornwall. These are wonderful golf courses. It's not second rate at all. These are first rate golf courses. And as you used the word earlier, unforgettable. That's exactly what these trips would be.
We don't want to forget about Wales either. I know there's maybe some golfers out there more experienced in Ireland and Scotland. And if you're ready to take on Wales, we definitely have, Jeff's been there multiple times, knows all the courses, and we'd be able to put a great trip together for that as well. So
yeah, that's a wonderful catch. Wales is spectacular. I mean, literally spectacular.
I'm sure there's a little bit more availability there as well. So
yeah, that's absolutely true. That's a great catch.
So
well done, Hayden.
A couple of weeks ago, we got to speak with Sheena Willoughby. The podcast came out last week, and we just wanted to talk a little bit about that so that if you haven't got the chance to look at it, it's a must see and must hear on the podcasts. She, bought and owned the Dunvegan for a very long time, sold a couple of years ago, and we got to hear all about the stories about, famous people coming in and through, famous people that she's known and created a relationship with. Jeff, you want to touch on your relationship with Sheena over the years?
Yeah. Sheena is everybody's favorite. Jack and Sheena. I always talk about Sheena, but Jack, her husband's fantastic as well. Mm-hmm. They still have an ownership stake and are on the board of the Dunvegan. So they still are active at the Dunvegan. And when they're in town, you'll see Jack and Sheena both there, whether they're working or having a pint, or having a meal. And I started going there in 1998, I guess it was. And, we've been friends ever since. The
Dunvegan is, what'd you say, 112? Was that the exact number? Yards?
Yeah, 112 yards from the green.
Andrews old course.
Green. Yeah. It's a wonderful B&B, and it's a wonderful bar, the best 19th hole in golf. And literally everyone I've taken there loves it. I mean, it's like a home away from home. They cater to Americans. You can get traditional Scottish food, but you can also get American steaks, American hamburgers. You can get a Budweiser if you like. I don't know why you would when you can get a Guinness or a Tennent's with a top or whatever. But they cater to Americans. You can watch American football games when you're there, or a baseball game, a World Series, whatever. And you can also watch Premier League soccer. So it's a wonderful place, and she did a marvelous job talking about all the wonderful people that she's met over the years. And so, but you know what, Hayden, she was a great guest, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. We've got a lot of wonderful guests coming up for the podcast, and a couple that come to mind. These are really great people. So we got Trevor Davies, who's the business manager of the club called Royal St. David's in Harlech, which is in North Wales. That's a golf-rich part of the world, Northern Wales. There are a handful of absolutely fantastic golf courses up there. And so he's the business manager. It's a little bit of a different title. Most of these people that do what he does are called club secretary, but at Royal St. David's, they call him the club manager. That's a course where you literally play in the shadow of a castle that's up on a hill. You're literally in the shadow of a castle. A fantastic course. The other guests that we've got lined up, one is Barry Connor. Barry is the director of spirits at Kennedy Castle in Ireland. He's a gentleman we talked about, where that group is going to stop for a whiskey tasting. Mm-hmm. He not only is the director of spirits there, but he lives in Rosapenna. His family owns a hotel there. He's a member at Rosapenna. He's a 2 handicapped. He's got wonderful stories of playing golf in Ireland, and we're going to talk at length about whiskey with him. We also have Jillian and David Kirkwood coming up. They're the owners of the Heritage of Golf Museum at Gullen. They bought that from Archie Baird. I've been in it probably 3 times. It's a fantastic tour. The history of golf, they explain it all to you. These are very experienced Hickory Shaft golf players, Jillian and David. So they'll be a lot of fun. Then we've got a guy from your neck of the woods, Hayden. He's from Alabama. His name's Jim Hartzell. Jim and I are kindred spirits. We fell in love with Scotland a long time ago and links golf. We've got a penchant for finding, I should say, those diamonds in the rough, those courses that people haven't heard of or discovered yet. Mm-hmm. He's been a member of 2 of them. He's been a member at Machrihanish. That's where he's a member now. But prior to that, he was a member at Dunaverty, which is an amazing course that nobody's heard of, or very few people have heard of. Mm-hmm. And he's also a big fan of Sweetens Cove, a golf course that was built not too long ago in southern Tennessee. And he loved it so much, he wrote a book. It's called The Secret Home of Golf. I recommend that you get it. And he talks about how that course came about, how it was created. And he's also got another book coming out. While I was over in Scotland, he was over in there. We didn't catch up with one another, but he's writing a book about his experience about spending a month in Scotland. So Jim Hartzell is he'll be a fantastic guest. And then the other person that jumps out at me in terms of who we have on, we've got Kurt Wagner coming up. We're actually going to record his podcast on Wednesday. Kurt is 84, 85. He's a retired commercial airline pilot. And he took advantage of that when he was younger and he was still employed. And he would fly to Great Britain and Ireland and play in amateur events over there. And I don't mean amateur events like you and I might play in. Hayden, he played in the British Amateur. He played in the British Senior Open. He's played in amazing golf tournaments on the world's best golf courses. He lives in Peachtree City. I met him on the golf course a couple of years ago. He's going to have fantastic stories. Can't wait to hear them. So that's kind of the lineup for podcast.
I'm excited.
Did I miss anybody? I don't know.
We've got John Murray and Kevin Thompson that we're going to get on eventually in the next coming months at your club, Old Murray. And that's the pro there and the greenskeeper. So that'll be exciting to talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, when you hear about who we've got coming up, as Hayden said, we've got the golf pro at Murray. We've got the greenskeeper there. It's going to be fascinating to hear about how they look after courses over there. The pros, it's a whole different game over there, being a golf professional at a club over there versus how it is here. We've got the gentleman who's played in all these tournaments. We've got the owner of a museum, a guy who's been to Scotland as many times as I have, a guy that's an expert on Irish whiskey, a guy that runs a club in Wales. So we're trying to give you a feel for what life is like over there and the type of people you'll meet, the type of courses you'll play, the type of experiences that you'll have. So hopefully you're enjoying the podcast. And if you've got suggestions on who you'd like to see or hear, let us know.
Yeah.
One final note on those podcasts, Hayden. Every morning, every Wednesday when you drop them, you drop them at 5 a.m. I'm up early. I watch them. I love watching them on YouTube. So I encourage everyone else to watch them as well.
Yeah. So now we get to talk about our group trips that we have planned. So like Jeff talked about earlier, we have two different ways that we go about planning trips. One is customized to guys that come to us, and they have a group of 4 guys. They want to customize a trip to Ireland. We'll customize that for them. And then we have a couple trips to Ireland and Italy that we have planned, and it is a first come, first serve. We've already planned the trip. We want as many people as possible, up to 16, potentially 20, depending. So let's talk a little bit about those trips.
Okay. Well, the first one we've got is this April. It's April 22nd would be the departure date, returning on April 30th. And this is a fantastic trip that we've assembled. We've got beautiful, wonderful partners. Although Johnny Buckley is beautiful, but we've got wonderful partners over there that we're working with to put together just a fantastic trip. So you'll land in Dublin on the 23rd. We've got County Louth, or Baltray as it's more commonly known. You'll be spending the night in Newcastle, which is where Royal County Down is. We'll play the next day at Ardglass. They've got the oldest clubhouse in the world. It's a former castle. The next day is a Monday. We'll take that day off. We're going to tour Belfast. We've got a black taxi tour of the Troubles. We'll have lunch and drinks at the oldest pub in Ireland. It's called the Crown Liquor Saloon. The following day is a Tuesday. We'll be playing golf at Royal County Down. Next day, we'll move back down from Northern Ireland to the Republic. We've got a round set up at the Portmarnock Golf and Golf Links. And we've got the next day at Portmarnock, which is the 16th best course in Ireland, followed by the Island, which will be the final day. On the day before that, I forgot to mention, the day that we play Portmarnock, we'll also be taking a guided tour of Dublin, capped off with a tour of the Guinness Brewery at St. James Gate. And you get a perfect pint of Guinness at the highest point in Dublin. It's fantastic.
Excited for that.
Fantastic. And the final night, we'll have a dinner, a private dinner in a private room. We'll have a replica of the Claret Jug trophy to give away to whoever wins the final day tournament. So it's just going to be a fantastic golf trip.
Yeah. And you'll be in company of Jeff and I. Hopefully we both get to make it, just depending on travel plans and what is happening in our life. But we're planning on going to the Ireland trip. And then in September, we have partnered with our good friend from Italy, Genovese, and we have planned an Italy trip, couples trip. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So we've partnered with Italy for Golf, Alberto Genovese. He's our partner. He's fantastic. And this is a wonderful couples trip. It's one you don't want to miss. It's got everything, and there's not too much golf. So here's what we got. You'll fly into Rome. We'll meet you at the airport, put you in a luxury van. We'll drive up to Tuscany. So we've got 6 nights up in Tuscany. We've got several nights out in the hills of Tuscany, and 3 nights, I believe, right on the Arno River that goes through Florence, in a former palace, right? It's just, you'll have a view of the Ponte Vecchio and of the river, a fantastic place. We've got winery tours with a sommelier planned, private dinners. The trip includes all the dinners and all the breakfasts. So nearly all the food that you would consume will be part of that. And then we've got while you're up there, you'll get to play 3 rounds of golf up there. So you'll play at Royal Golf Labanya. I'm pronouncing it wrong. Labanaya. There it is. Labanaya, which is a Robert Trent Jones Jr. golf design. It's a fantastic trip. Then we'll be playing in Siena at Castelfoffi Golf Resort, which is a fantastic golf course. The next day we'll be in Florence, touring Florence. You'll go through the museum there where the Statue of David is. You'll be able to shop along the Ponte Vecchio. You'll be able to have lunch on a piazza, gelato, a slice of pizza. It'll be fantastic. And then we will move to a course that's called Ugalino Golf Club, another fantastic golf course. All 3 of these courses are in the Tuscan Hills. They are absolutely stunning. They're wonderful tests of golf. And the hotel that you'll be staying at is a 5-star resort in Florence. As I said, it's a former palace. It's literally fantastic. Then we'll move down to Rome, and we've got 2 nights in Rome. And in Rome, we've got something very special planned. We've got a round of golf pegged for Marco Simone Golf Club. And Marco Simone Golf Club is where the 2023 Ryder Cup will be. So you'll get to see it before the American pros do. You'll get to test your mettle on a Ryder Cup venue. And then the final day that we're there, we'll be in Rome. And it's a free day. You can tour it on your own, or you can ask us for our help, and we'll arrange for a tour of Rome. The Vatican is there. All the historical monuments that you would want to see are there. And if you haven't been to Rome, if you haven't been to Tuscany, and you want to play some golf and treat your spouse to an amazing trip, this is the one. This is absolutely the one.
So it's four total rounds of golf and 8 nights.
Correct.
Yep.
6 in Tuscany, 2 in Rome, and it's going to be fantastic. It's every detail has been looked after.
And then to piggyback off of this Italy trip, we are already in the talks of our 2023 Italy trip, which is going to be for the Ryder Cup. So we'll have a couple rounds. We'll get you in the Ryder Cup in Rome at Marco Simone Golf and Country Club. And that's another trip we're planning for 2023 with Mr. Genovese and Italy for golf.
Exactly. Well, we'll play some different courses up in Northern Italy, and we'll come down. We'll do 2 days at the Ryder Cup. So you get to see 2 days of the Ryder Cup, and it's going to be a fantastic trip. I was at the Ryder Cup at Valhalla, and it was spectacular. The crowds were amazing. And I know some of you that are listening have gone to Ryder Cups, and some of you I know have been to Whistling Straits this past year and witnessed just what it's like to be part of the American crowd. Can you imagine being part of the American group that's in Italy with all the people screaming "Ole, ole, ole," and it's going to be a fabulous trip as well.
Absolutely. Another one that we're excited about is we're going to be, I wouldn't say partnering, but we're going to bring a buddy of mine and his band called Lanco, and we're going to bring them to Ireland with us on a trip. 3 of the guys out of the 5 are really big golfers. So it wasn't very hard to convince them to go on a trip. I talked with Jared Hampton, the keys and guitar player. He also, writes music with them. I had him on a podcast a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about how everywhere they go on tour, they're bringing their golf clubs. Everywhere they go, they're looking for a round of golf. If they have time, they're out there. I know they just spent some time in California, and I think it was almost every day I saw Jared playing a new course there. So they're big golfers, and we'll be planning a trip with them in the coming years as well.
Yeah, this is not just any band. It's a platinum selling country band out of Nashville. Fantastic. Jared's a wonderful guy. And the band is amazing. I mean, if you ever get the opportunity to see Lanco, go see them. They were fantastic. The night that I saw them with Hayden's wife, they were better than the act that they opened for. They're a fantastic band. So we loved every minute of it. And it's going to be fun to be in Ireland with them playing golf. I told Hayden I can't wait to get him into a traditional Irish music bar and have them
take over
for a minute and teach the Irish how to play country music. That'll be fun.
We'll have to have Jared bring his banjo so he can play.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It'll work out perfectly. I met Jared in Nashville when I was living there. Ironically at a golf course. We randomly got paired together, just him and I. And ever since then we've kept in contact and played a couple times. And this just seems like a no-brainer to bring Lanco on and just have a blast. So that should be happening in 2023.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So yeah, we talked about if you are planning a trip or want to plan a trip and you want to go in 2022, now's the time, because we talked about how the courses are very, very booked. England and Ireland are still possibilities. And if you're planning for 2023, Scotland, England, and Ireland are all possibilities. So as well as Wales. So if you are interested, we have a vacation customization form on our website, royallinksgolftours.com. Fill out the vacation customization. We will get you an idea of a trip. We'll customize a trip for you, and it'll start making things more realistic for you and kind of opening your eyes to a future trip for you guys.
Yeah. And if you want to call us directly, if you look at the website, there's a 1-800 number that you can call us on. And in addition to that, if you want to learn more about the courses that are in these different countries, I think we've got a wonderful website with great photography and great text to go along with it, talking about those courses. We've got frequently taken trips, so you get an idea, some thought starters of places that you might want to go or play. And the 2 trips that we talked about to Ireland and Italy are uploaded as well, so you can see more specifics about what those trips entail.
Well, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed it. We love getting to talk about the trips that we've planned and the trips that we have planned, and it's just really, really exciting. I'm excited to get to Ireland here in a couple months. Jeff, any last words?
Yeah, it's never too early to start booking trips over there for 2023.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to start talking about it now. I think one of the things that people forget is it's one thing for me to say to my buddies, hey, let's go to Ireland next year, right? It's another to get all of them to get their permissions from various people. And the biggest thing is it's like herding cats for whoever's leading that group. And it's the one thing that slows things down. And it's why the one group that I was talking about is going to have to make some major choices and decisions about where they play, because they wanted to play in the Southwest. And I know no one can get them on to Ballybunion, and we're a preferred provider at Ballybunion. So anyway, book as early as you can. And I think the other thing is not just book, but start talking with us as early as you can, so that we can tell you about the pitfalls or the things that you need to be thinking about. We're happy to help guide you through the planning process, and we make great trips.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, I hope to hear from some of you guys and start planning trips for y'all for 2022 and 2023. It's really exciting talking with the group of fellas that are going to Ireland for the first time and how excited they are, and just booking the trips. Jeff and I booking tee times. It's really exciting. So thanks, Jeff, for coming on with me and talking a little bit about our trips that we have. And I look forward to next week talking with Trevor. That's right, for Royal St. David's. So see y'all next week. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much, Hayden. Wonderful job.
Bye. Thanks again to everybody for joining us today on the podcast. I hope you're starting to picture your first or second or third trip to the British Isles, either Ireland, Scotland, England, or Wales. The next step to make that a reality is to go on our website at royallinksgolftours.com and fill out a vacation customization form. There should be a button at the top right, and then we can create a unforgettable trip for you and your group. If you liked this podcast, please hit the like, subscribe, follow, and share buttons, and I hope to see you next week. Thank you.